Hello, everyone. We'll get started in a few minutes as people continue to join the session. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in a few minutes as people continue to join the session. Welcome, everyone. We'll start in just a moment as people continue to join the session. Welcome, everyone. We'll kick off the session in just a moment as people continue to join. Okay, great. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our 2024 Product Update webinar. I'm Tiffany Labruno, Head of Product for Owners here at Procore. This is my third year, and I'm so proud to continue to share the voice of our owner customers across our product and technology departments. On that note, we have some exciting updates today about our solutions, particularly for you, and presented by some of our most experienced product specialists. The agenda today includes our 2024 product releases to date, a review of our action plan updates with a walkthrough that includes some best practices. We will see a review of our platform workflows, including some recent updates, as well as best practices utilizing those new enhancements. We have an exciting update on the Connectability initiative, where two customers who have Procore can share across a project using the drawings beta with some tips and tricks to using our project connection manager. And finally, an update from our financials product manager on the now, next, and future product roadmap within Procore Financials for Owners. We are joined by our product experts in the owner space, Nina Pryor, Atai Ates, Kirsten Salmons, and Robert Gray. And they're so eager to talk about the work we've been doing in 2023 and 2024. You know, at Procore, our mission is to improve the lives of everyone in construction. And today, our product experts will discuss our plans for the product roadmap and how the platform will continue to evolve into the next few years, particularly for owners. And Procore's vision is to connect everyone on a global platform. This means every stakeholder has an opportunity to achieve ultimate success and collaboration in a single place to meet and share work. Given the vast array of owner perspectives and industries, leaders choose Procore because it helps them mitigate risk, to see into the future of their portfolios. It provides visibility and accountability from the field to the C-suite across an open and flexible platform. Now let's get into the product updates from the last quarter of 2024. I have to remind you, you're about to see a glimpse into the future of some of our products today. So please make your buying decisions according to what's generally available or in GA status. Let's kick it off with bidding and bid form sections. With the ability to create sections and subsections to drag and drop line items into bid forms, this provides a more intuitive creation experience as well as easier organization for review and submission. Another area within Precon on bidding, duplicating bid packages. Now you can create bid packages from a package previously created, saving time and effort. This reduces the need to create the package from scratch every time. For BIM, introducing our Revit side panel for quick access to Procore coordination issues, providing real-time issue tracking and immediate feedback on design changes. Our point-to-point measurement. Now, previously in Procore, you could only measure from the closest distance between two objects. Today, you can measure the distance on a 3D model between two specific locations, thus enhancing quality control and getting more accurate model measurements. And again, on the BIM front, being able to publish models from docs. With this open beta, you can publish a model directly from the Documents tool instead of having to publish from Navisworks, thereby eliminating the need for a plugin or a license to publish models to Procore. We also support 95% of the 3D file types, including DWG in Procore's model tools. For submittals, we have a multitude of changes on the submittal front, specifically with bulk actions. Today, you can bulk replace a single workflow user, use bulk actions to calculate due dates like today or submit by date, and bulk add or remove users from distribution lists. Again, with submittals, our workflow updates, we've produced quite a bit around submittal workflows. Now, when the response is revise or reject, the workflow routes the ball in court to the submittal manager. And a resume workflow is now available in the beta to give the submittal manager the ability to set the ball in court back, close the submittal, or resume the workflow. If you need a fresh look ahead, for instance, one that doesn't contain an overlapping task or subtask, you can now create a fresh one from the previous look ahead or from the master schedule. We have so much to show you on action plans today, and this is so exciting. You now even have more areas to attach files to action plans, including photos, drawings, and forms. So when you're responding to requests, you can add these directly from Procore tools. And with permissions change history, you can now see your change history from both the company and project level permission templates to see changes made to your permission templates in one place. On the reporting front, get more insight into your funding, commitment, and PCO workflow status using enhanced reporting, ensuring you can report across these critical documents to review timing. And get access to over 150 report templates in our custom reporting solution called Enhanced Reporting. So you can use a baseline template to create your own or just produce the right report from the template. And now here's Nina Pryor with an update on our action plan releases from 2024, as well as best practices for action plans.
Thank you, Tiffany. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nina Pryor, and I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer supporting our owners team. I am excited to talk with you today about our Action Plans tool, which some of you may or may not be familiar. So what is it? The Action Plan tool is going to enable teams to manage a multitude of processes spanning from large activities such as project startup to more granular tasks like permit or entitlement processes. So why does it matter? It allows users to customize plans which provide clarity, set expectations, and hold team members accountable. You can track standardized multi-step processes and sequential flows across tools and teams. This provides visibility on the work being completed through a flexible system. And who is it for? Anyone needing to generate a plan, from simple to complex processes and projects requiring transparency into task completion. We have an entire generation of knowledge holders who are exiting the workforce to enjoy their retirement and taking that tribal knowledge with them. So with the action plans, this gives you, the owner, documentation around those SOPs and the opportunities to create a call to action within repeatable processes time and time again. As part of the many updates and feature improvements we have completed for action plans, we are excited to share with you that we have included several new owner-specific templates as part of our out-of-the-box template library. These templates can be both created at the company and project level. Action plan templates offer more ways to simplify your processes and are tailored to empower you to take action without the administrative burden of starting from scratch. It's easy to get started by creating an action plan from a company or project level template. By hitting the Create button, you will see all available templates grouped by type and/or category. Today, we will be reviewing the pre-construction/construction handoff action plan. To begin, we will fill out some of the general information fields, such as the plan manager, and then get to working on assigning of responsibilities and confirming steps. As you can see, we already have sections and items pre-populated for the template. I can go ahead and edit or add additional acceptance criteria, references, and records. By selecting Add Request, I can include additional attachments from other active tools within the project. Once ready, I will publish the action plan for us to kick off. As we kick off the pre-construction construction handoff for this new project, we begin with the construction documents section. Confirming program definition and scope is first on the list. Reviewing the relevant scoping meeting and 30% construction documents checklist is essential to keep everyone on the same page as we kick off the project. As you can see, I'm responsible for completing this item within the action plan. I'm unable to move to the next step until I've fulfilled my role. When selecting the record, it will give me the option to create new or link to an existing inspection template, highlighting ease of use within the platform by automatically navigating to the inspection templates within Procore. As you can see, I also get a high-level overview of what has been completed within the inspection. As the assignee, it is my responsibility to include the completed checklist and sign off on this item to attest or verify that this action is now complete. Once completed, the action plan will unlock the next step, and I'm able to move on to step 1.2 of our plan. As progress is made with construction document efforts, compiling and reviewing our design documents becomes a core responsibility. In order to complete item 1.2 design documents, the assignee for this item will need to include the bid set drawings and specifications. As we can see, this is a step that has multiple assignees, with our architect being required or responsible for uploading the drawings. Same rules apply here. I will go ahead and select attachments requested. Once I hit add attachment, I will then select directly from our drawings tool. We have been working diligently on ensuring that our user experience when using these tools not only makes sense in theory, but in practice. It is crucial to be able to directly upload documents to the action plan tool, but also to be able to pull from our document repository within the platform. I now can select from my drawing sets within the drawings tool. I can narrow down to a specific set, discipline, or even multi-select sheets. For example, we will just go with the current set and attach. Since the architect has a red asterisk next to their name, they are required to complete the verification method, which is a signature. Once signed, the step is now marked as closed and will be our final step within this section. Now, as we continue completing the action plan, we are able to include additional records or notes. This is important for items or steps that may require multiple records. For example, as the contractor, I may also need to include additional attachments from the submittal tool for inspections. By selecting the submittals requested, I now can create new or link to existing submittals that exist within the submittals tool. As you're able to see, there are infinite possibilities in how you can configure and leverage action plans. So Procore's action plans is the ultimate playbook to streamline your development and ownership process. It ensures standardization, accountability, and easy access to critical information throughout your project's lifecycle. Have other processes you'd love to fine-tune as well? Action Plans is going to connect up to 10 other Procore tools and include several templates for other construction processes to make sure that the execution of work is just as successful as the planning. You can learn more at Procore.com. Call to action for everyone on this call. So you can go to the Procore support page. You can look at our product releases, as well as connect with directly with your customer success manager. And now here's Atai to discuss best practices on self-serve workflows.
Thanks, Nina. Hello, everyone. My name is Atai, and I am a strategic product consultant for financial products, and I work with owner clients and owner clients only, helping them bring their business and business goals, processes to fruition. In Procore, our strategic product consultant group specifically has owner-centric background in the construction industry, specifically prior to joining Procore. So today I'll be talking to you about some of the recent updates to our workflow module over the past year and how you could potentially utilize it for your business processes. So Workflows 2.0, what is it? It's a self-serve and improved way of establishing workflow templates for a variety of financial and project management processes. Why does it matter? More hands-on and improved ways to create and manage your approval workflows. It's for everyone, particularly owners and developers who are looking to standardize and automate their internal and external approval processes. It probably isn't news to you that you had the capability to create approval workflows in Procore. We really want to focus on more on the some of the specific use cases that you can fully leverage Workflows engine on. But here are some of the tools that you can utilize it on today. So Workflow Engine today is available on a variety of financial tools. Think about all the processes that have a status associated with it. It is highly likely that you can workflow that process. So correspondence and funding invoices are some of the new additions to that list. We also have funding and funding change orders. In other words, prime contract and prime contract change orders, purchase orders, budget changes, contracts and contract change orders, contract invoices and payments. These are all processes that we can workflow. So now we're going to dive into specific use cases. We can set up conditional workflows, starting with custom field conditionals. Single or multi-select dropdowns or checkboxes can now be leveraged to create customized if-then logics or different approval routes. We can set up amount thresholds. We can design an approval based on whether or not we are over or under budget based on our total commitments. Custom responses, we can set up custom responses to customize our workflow with different types of approve, return, and reject actions. So you may have several ways of returning an object, or you may require additional review. So custom responses will give you that flexibility. And lastly, reporting. We can report on our workflows, which items are open, whose code is it on, and then we can drill down to an individual item through reporting hyperlinks and find out why it was delayed. So let's demonstrate these different scenarios in a real life example. This is a contract approval workflow example that basically uses different features available to us today to standardize the user's process. So in this example that leans more on the complex side. We are addressing 4 specific process requirements based on our business goals. So it starts with dynamic roles. We're collaborating with the item creators. So contracts can be created by different individuals in the same project. So we want to make sure that we collaborate these revisions with whoever created that item, so that the project manager who gets it first can return it to the item creator each time they select return. So what are some other ways that we can customize this workflow? Conditional workflows. So custom field conditionals, as we said earlier. Construction, for example, construction contracts get reviewed by the construction team. FF&E or furniture contracts are reviewed by the FF&E department. So the type of the item dictates who it should be reviewed by. Or maybe the department in charge of that item, or any other if-then scenario that we want to incorporate through custom field conditionals. Then there's amount-based conditionals. If the change order amount is above 50K, additional review by vice president. In other words, delegation of authority. And then lastly, budget check. If the project's total commitments exceed the revised budget amount, return to PM. Perhaps we're going to require them to submit additional budget changes to the project before they can submit that change order. So custom field conditionals. In this example, once the project manager reviews the contract, it gets routed to the right team based on what contract type was selected in the contract item. On the left-hand side, we see the custom field. So therefore, construction team reviews construction contracts, FF&E team reviews FF&E contracts. But we're really hoping that this gets you thinking about what other ways of leveraging custom field conditionals can be for you. What are some other ways that you could structure your workflows to standardize your current process and maintain a structure? No two owner clients are the same. So as strategic product consultants, we collaborate with you to standardize your unique goals and use cases while workshopping ideas and best practices to improve it as much as we can while we have the chance as we're implementing a new product. And then amount-based conditionals. So another common practice is to set up delegation of authority for financial items based on a certain dollar threshold or thresholds. In our example, any contract above 500K needs to be approved by the vice president, and we can sort of stack and combine these thresholds as needed. So what could be other ways of leveraging amount-based conditionals? Could be, for your specific use case. Are there any specific amount-based logics that you need to define in your workflows? We can also leverage custom responses to address unique use cases in case we need one additional review by another department, engineering, legal, vice president. Maybe we need a clarification from our project manager or accounting team. Maybe we just need to hold off on the approval until we have signatures on the DocuSign side. Maybe we want to require reasons for each type of response. All of that can be configured through custom responses section. So zooming back out to the original workflow, your workflow does not need to be this complicated. You can use all or some of these ideas based on how simple or complicated your case might be. But now let's talk about reporting and reporting on these workflows as well, lastly. So we now have reporting capabilities from our workflow data. So workflow report, some of the workflow report sources are assigned to current step. Who's the PM or person, individual that's assigned to that step, workflow assignment duration, current workflow step. These are all workflow sources that we can pull, combine those with additional sources like status, submitted date, vendor, and project, and etc. You get a full report that you can visualize your workflow statuses on. And here is an example. This is how you can basically utilize the enhanced reporting module to get more insight into your workflow status and performance, and really take a quick action by clicking on the hyperlinks. So now we get to see which step the item is in the workflow, who's in charge of that step, how many days do I have to complete it. And you can run these reports grouped or filtered by projects, programs, regions, or any other categorization that exists in your instance. But enhanced reporting on these 3 sources are available on all financial tools with Workflow 2.0. But that's it on workflows for owners. So I'll pass it over to Kirsten who will talk about connectability, drawings beta.
Thank you, Atai. Hi, I'm Kristen Solomons, and I am a project readiness manager for the project execution solution. Prior to Procore, I was a mechanical engineer for several years and have experience in design, construction administration, and project management. Today, I'll be sharing exciting updates about the Connectability for Drawings beta and our new Connection Manager tool. Procore's mission is to connect everyone in construction on a global platform. Oh, you're an owner and have your project in Procore. What happens when the GC also has Procore? The answer is siloed information, duplicate data entry, and confusion. How are we going to solve for this? With Connectability. We're excited to share our vision of enabling users to complete everything in their own Procore account. Right now, we're starting off with drawings, but more tools like RFIs and submittals are on the horizon. Our Connectability for Drawings open beta is currently in a phased rollout, which will continue for the next few months. The beta enables a downstream project, which is the recipient of the drawings, to initiate connection to an upstream project, the source of drawings. Upon successful connection, all existing and future published drawings are copied downstream and are automatically kept in sync with the upstream project. Exciting, right? So since drawings are the recipients are the ones who initiate connections, this beta is specifically for downstream companies to have that ability. Upstream source projects do not need to enroll in the open beta. What are the benefits of connecting projects? From the upstream perspective, there's automatic distribution of drawings downstream, less admin work to manage external users, and ensured consistency across teams by being the single source of truth of connected drawings. For the downstream, there's quicker access to drawings, no more double data entry, which is a huge one. Drawing titles, numbers, revision, and dates are copied from upstream, and they're automatically kept in sync, allowing you to gain confidence in your data. And lastly, for both parties, there's ownership of data. We've gone over the benefits of connecting. Now, how do you connect projects? We recently released a brand new project level tool called Connection Manager. This is where you can manage connections between your projects and other projects. Connections can only be initiated by downstream projects, and the user initiating the connection must have read-only permissions or higher to the upstream project's drawings tool. Another feature is that upstream has the ability to streamline approvals, and they can allow auto approval of connections or require manual review and approval. And lastly, both parties also have the flexibility to disconnect at any time. Running through the connection experience, starting on the left, the downstream project initiates a connection, and then depending on the upstream project's approval settings, if no review is required, the connection is automatically made and all published drawings without markups are copied to the downstream. Then this path below, if review is required, the upstream project will receive a notification to review the request, and they can then either approve it or reject it. Now let's check out a recorded demo and see this in action.
Before we started open beta rollout, we recommended customers review and configure two settings. The first setting is located in the company admin level tool, is where you could define your connection approval preference. By default, automatic approval is enabled to reduce administrative burden, but you can uncheck this setting if you prefer to require review of each connection request. The second setting is located at the project level in the Connection Manager tool settings. Here, you can configure the email distribution list for new connections, disconnections, and connection requests on a project-by-project basis. Please be sure to check these out if you have not done so already. Now, let's initiate a connection from the new Connection Manager tool. If your company is participating in the beta, Connection Manager admins will see an orange Connect Upstream button. Let's click it. We will first select the upstream company and then the upstream project that we want to connect to, and then click Next. We have some important beta considerations listed here, including reminders that upstream markups are not included in the drawing copy, downstream projects can only connect to one upstream project, disconnections cannot be undone, and more. On this next page, we will double check that we are connecting the correct projects, and then we will click Connect. In this scenario, the upstream account is set to auto-approve connections, so we will see that the connection has automatically begun. If the upstream project contained any published drawings, they may take a few minutes to sync over. Once all drawings have copied over, you will see a connected icon. Showing a second scenario, if the upstream company requires review of each connection, a connection request will be sent to the upstream project, and the downstream project will see a requested icon. Switching gears to the upstream connection manager tool, a connection manager admin can see that downstream company 2 has requested to connect. We will click Review Request. We can either approve, reject, or cancel and review the request again at a later time. Let's click Approve. We can see that the drawings are syncing downstream. Note that an upstream project can support multiple downstream connections. However, once a project is an upstream source project, they cannot act as a downstream project and create connections. Once the drawing sync is complete, the downstream will receive an email notification that the new connected drawings are ready to review and publish. Let's switch gears once more and hop to the Drawings tool of the downstream project. All drawing areas and published drawings in the upstream project automatically get copied downstream and will display a connected icon as seen on Building A and Building B. Downstream could create their own non-connected drawing areas and upload drawings. These will remain in the downstream project. Let's open up Building A. The yellow icon on drawing sets indicates that we have drawing sets to review and publish. Connected drawings are copied to the downstream company in an unpublished state. All drawing metadata, such as drawing number, title, revision, and dates, all have been copied from the upstream project, saving the downstream from performing duplicate data entry and wasting countless hours. The best part too, this metadata will automatically be kept in sync with the upstream project for the entirety of the connection. Once the downstream completes their review, they can publish and make the drawings accessible to drawing tool users in their account. Each time the upstream publishes new drawings or revisions, downstream will follow these steps to publish. Let's open up one of our connected drawings. Reminder that markups from the upstream do not carry over. Downstream could add their own markups, which will remain in the downstream project only. Let's navigate back to the Connection Manager tool. At any time, either party can disconnect, which will stop future drawings from being copied downstream. Once projects are disconnected, metadata is no longer kept in sync, but all project data up until the point of disconnection will be retained in the downstream account. We are very excited for you to try out this experience. If any of your projects will be downstream projects, sign up for the beta using this QR code or visit procore.com/platform/connect. Now handing things over to Robert Bray for financials now, next, and future.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Robert Bray, and I am on the Project Financials product team. I'm excited to talk with you all about what we're working on now, what we have cooking next, and then also some of the longer term initiatives that we have planned. Before getting to that, though, I also wanted to take a second to call out some of the recent investments that we've made into improving the financials product specifically for owners. Features like work breakdown structure, which give you a lot more flexibility into how you set up your costs. You're not limited to just things like cost code and cost type. You can break down your costs however you like. Custom fields, which allow you to completely customize the fields that are showing up on any financial object in Procore. And then also the configurable workflows that Atai just demonstrated that have been huge for our owners, customers, one of the biggest product requests we've had from that market for some years. And what we really have now is we're in a position that we have a product that works just as well for owners as it does for contractors, which is very exciting. So now I want to take a second to highlight what we are immediately working on right now. And the first is multi-currency. And this has been a big ask of our owner customer base, excuse me, for some time now, as many of our other owner customers do projects in other countries or have contracts with vendors in other countries, even if they're doing projects here in the States. We are live with Project Currency now, which allows you to set different projects in different currencies and then rolling up to a single company level reporting currency. And then the ability to set individual currencies on the contract level and then having change orders and invoice follow that currency of the contract will be coming very soon. Next is budget changes, on upstream invoices, which allows you to bill against any budget changes. And so this is particularly useful for GMP projects where you might want to get away from internal change orders. And with this initiative, we're also going to allow you to do things like bill on grouped rows, which has been a big request for some time. If you don't want to bill at the most granular level of detail, you just want to do it on a group, you can do that, and then it will automatically allocate it down to those individual line items. WBS enhancement. So I said a second ago how this has been a big investment for ours for the past couple of years, and we're continuing to invest in this feature because it's been a big hit with owner customers because, like I said, allows them to configure their financial data however they like. So we're continuing to increase this flexibility and configurability by introducing things like the ability to layer on a granular permission for budget codes so that you can control who is able to actually create budget codes, as well as more controls around the ability to create custom budget code descriptions. Next is Procore Pay. So this has been a big investment for Procore over the last 2 years to really bring the entire payment process and movement of money onto Procore. You can basically think of it like Venmo for construction. And we've had a ton of traction since we launched last year. And so we're continuing to invest really heavily here with things like workflows, sub-tier waivers, and streamlined onboarding for contractors. Next up, we've got financial markups. So previously, markups in the product could only be calculated by leveraging cost type. Now, you can also use cost codes in the same way that you could use cost types to calculate your markup. And we've also introduced the ability to do more advanced calculations, such as things like iterative markup, where a given line item can be included in the total when you run the markup calculation. We've also given the markup functionality just generally a new look and feel, which has been really well received by our customers. And then finally, on the change events tool, we have a brand new list view. So not only does this help with things like performance and load times when you have lots of change events on a project, but it also gives you a lot more configurability over this page, which is always huge for our owner customers, and also brings user experience improvements with things like controlling the order of the columns, the width of the columns, and also being able to edit the values directly from the list view without having to open up a change event. And so this is just, again, more configurability that has been a big hit with our owner customers so far, who really view this tool as the internal risk register for the project. Now we can take a look at some of the things that we plan on starting here in the near future. So first, we've got a continued investment in the payments product where we'll be working on an early pay feature. So early pay, what that does, it provides payers with the ability to offer early payment. So for example, within 10 days instead of 60, to payees in exchange for a fee. And those payers can self-fund the program using their own capital, or they can use a Procore sourced third party's capital to run the program. Next up, we've got compliance templates. So managing compliance is a big requirement for making the payment product successful, and we'll be rolling out templates for this as well as managing conditional compliance requirements, as you see in the future column here on the right. And then finally, we've got workflows. So as I mentioned a second ago, this has probably been the single biggest ask of our owner customer base over the last few years. We've put a lot of time and energy into this. It's been received very well by our owner customers. And so we're going to continue to invest here by rolling out more functionality with respect to how those conditional checks that Atai demoed a second ago, how those can work, and just getting more granular with those conditionals. Finally, we will turn our attention to some of the longer term initiatives that we're working on. So again, you'll see a theme here as a continued investment in the Procore Pay product with things like joint check tracking and that conditional compliance that I spoke about, as well as extending the early pay functionality that we're about to start working on soon through a third-party funded bank. And then the final thing that we've got on the horizon for later this year is making a significant improvement to our change order module, which is going to give you a lot more flexibility on things like the order for approving change orders, not having to approve things in a certain order, as well as loosening up the restrictions on when change orders can be edited under certain conditions. So if you're interested in diving deeper on any of these topics, please reach out to your account team. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Now it's time to move into our Q&A portion. We have about 5 minutes for Q&A. I have one here for Robert. Can you define what levels of support you offer for multi-currency?
Yeah, certainly. So there are essentially going to be 3 different levels of currency within Procore. So first, you've got your company currency, which you can kind of think of as the base currency for the account. It's essentially, you can use it on projects, but it's also essentially a reporting currency where you can have projects all in different currencies rolling up to a single currency for a reporting standpoint. Then we have the concept of a project currency. So you might be a US-based company, but you could be doing projects in, the UK, Mexico, Canada, and each one of those projects needs to be in the local currency. So there's a new field at the project admin for managing that project currency, and everything within that project, not only in financials, but in project management as well, all the currency values will look up to that project currency. And then the third level of detail that I think I mentioned we're going to be coming out with soon is the concept of currency on an individual contract level. So with this, you could be running a project in, say, US dollars, but maybe you're securing, materials or working with a contractor that's in Mexico or Canada or anywhere else, and you can set the currency on that contract to a different currency other than your project currency. And then any change orders and invoices against that contract would be in that currency as well. And all of these will roll up accordingly. So different contract currencies will roll up to the project currency when you're looking at your budget, and then different project currencies will roll up to the company currency, like I said a second ago, when you're looking at projects across the portfolio.
Amazing, thank you. So we did see a demo on workflows, and I know, Robert, you had mentioned that conditional logic functionality is coming out. Is there anything you want to expand on beyond what we saw today?
Yeah, certainly. So a couple of the things we're thinking through are conditional checks on budget changes. So currently the way it works, not only on the net amount, but on the gross amount as well. And then another thing that we're looking into, in Atai's example, he had this case where you want to set a workflow that checks if your commitment is going to blow your budget. And the way it works today is it's on an aggregate level. So is this commitment going to bust my total budget? We're looking at the same check, but down to the line item level of detail. So if you're putting a contract or a workflow, we're looking at how to scan all the line items in that contract to say, is any one of these individual line items over budget for that line item, as opposed to for the entire budget. So basically bringing that same check that we have today and that Atai demonstrated, but bringing it down to the line item level.
Perfect. Any other questions? Please type them in the Q&A section. Okay, I think then that's a wrap. I want to thank everybody for participating, and a reminder that this session today is being recorded. So if we had a question that we weren't able to get to, or if you'd like to go back and revisit this recording, you can reach out to your account team, and we'll be sharing this out to all of you quite soon. So thank you so much for attending, and have a wonderful day.